What if the pill sitting on your nightstand right now, the one your doctor prescribed years ago, is quietly destroying your kidneys? Not in some distant future, right now, tonight. This is not a scare tactic. This is what the latest nephrology research is urgently telling us. And most people over 60 have absolutely no idea. I'm Dr. Arthur Clark, a practicing nephrologist with over 22 years of clinical experience specializing in kidney disease and age-related renal decline. I've sat across from hundreds of patients who did everything right, watched their diet, exercised, took their medications faithfully, and still ended up in kidney failure. And in nearly every one of those cases, the medications they trusted most were a major contributing factor. Today's topic is just as urgent, maybe more so. Here's what the science says. A landmark 2022 study from Johns Hopkins University School of Medicine, published in the Journal of the American Society of Nephrology, found that adults over the age of 60 who regularly took certain commonly prescribed medications had a 47% higher rate of chronic kidney disease progression compared to younger adults on the same drugs. Let that sink in. The same pill. Double the risk, simply because of your age. I want to hear from you right now. Drop your age in the comments below and tell me, are you currently taking any prescription or over-the-counter pain relievers? Your response might help someone else watching this video. Today, I am going to walk you through the 5 most dangerous pills for your kidneys after age 60, ranked from seriously harmful to absolutely critical. And then I'll give you 3 easy, proven solutions you can start using immediately. By the time we reach number 1, you may want to call your doctor the very next morning. And trust me, number 1 is something almost every person over 60 is either taking or has been told to take. The research around it will genuinely shock you, so please, do not skip ahead. Number 5, NSAIDs, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, ibuprofen, naproxen, diclofenac. Let's begin with number 5, and this one alone should make you pause the next time you reach for that bottle of ibuprofen. Your kidneys filter roughly 200 liters of blood every single day. To do that, they rely on a constant, carefully regulated flow of blood through tiny vessels called afferent arterioles. Here's the thing. Your body uses natural chemicals called prostaglandins to keep those vessels dilated, especially when blood pressure drops or you're slightly dehydrated. NSAIDs, drugs like ibuprofen, naproxen, and diclofenac, work by blocking prostaglandins to reduce pain. But in doing so, they also cut off the very signal your kidneys use to protect themselves. The blood vessels constrict, filtration drops, and if this happens repeatedly over months and years, the damage compounds. After age 60, this mechanism becomes far more dangerous for 2 specific biological reasons. First, your kidney mass naturally decreases by approximately 1% per year after age 40, according to a 2019 study from the Mayo Clinic published in the American Journal of Kidney Diseases. By the time you're 65, you may have already lost 20 to 25% of your functional kidney capacity before you've ever taken a single NSAID. Second, older adults spend more time in a mildly dehydrated state, often without realizing it, because the sensation of thirst diminishes with age. Dehydration, combined with NSAID use, is one of the most common triggers of acute kidney injury in seniors. A 2021 study from the University of Nottingham, published in the British Medical Journal, found that regular NSAID use in adults over 60 increased the risk of acute kidney injury by 41% compared to non-users. For those who are also on blood pressure medications, that risk climbed to 55%. Consider Margaret Liu, a 67-year-old retired school teacher from Ohio, who had been taking 400 milligrams of ibuprofen twice daily for knee osteoarthritis for 3 years. She came into my clinic after a routine blood test showed her creatinine, a key marker of kidney function, had jumped 38% in 18 months. She had no symptoms, no pain in her kidneys, no obvious warning signs. After discontinuing NSAIDs and switching to physical therapy combined with a low-dose topical diclofenac gel, her creatinine levels stabilized within 4 months. Her kidneys didn't fully recover, but the damage stopped progressing. The practical step you can take today, right now, is to check every bottle in your medicine cabinet. Any drug ending in -profen or containing naproxen or diclofenac is an NSAID. Speak with your doctor about acetaminophen as a safer alternative for mild pain, or about non-pharmacological options like heat therapy, gentle stretching, or topical treatments. And if you must use an NSAID, do so for the shortest possible time and never on an empty stomach or while dehydrated. Now here's a synergy tip connecting this number 3 on our list. If you're also taking a diuretic, which we'll discuss shortly, the combination with NSAIDs is particularly brutal on your kidneys. The two drugs together can reduce kidney blood flow by as much as 60%, according to research from Harvard Medical School. But as damaging as NSAIDs are, the next pill on our list is prescribed far more often, and most people have no idea it can cause kidney stones, kidney failure, and dangerous electrolyte crashes. Stay with me for number 4. Number 4, proton pump inhibitors, PPIs, omeprazole, lansoprazole, pantoprazole. You might know these as a little purple pill, or simply your acid reflux medication. Proton pump inhibitors, drugs like omeprazole, lansoprazole, and pantoprazole, are among the most prescribed medications in the world. Millions of people over 60 take them every single day, often for years, often without ever questioning whether they're still necessary. And that's exactly the problem. Here's the biological mechanism. Your kidneys rely on a process called interstitial filtration, which depends heavily on magnesium homeostasis. That means keeping your magnesium levels balanced. PPIs dramatically reduce the absorption of magnesium in your gut. Over time, chronic magnesium deficiency impairs the kidney's ability to concentrate urine and regulate fluid balance. But worse than that, long-term PPI use is now strongly linked to a condition called tubulointerstitial nephritis. Essentially, inflammation inside the kidney's filtering tubes. This inflammation, if undetected and untreated, progresses silently to chronic kidney disease. The 2016 landmark study from the Stanford University School of Medicine, published in the Journal of the American Medical Association Internal Medicine, followed over 173,000 patients and found that PPI users had a 20 to 50% higher risk of developing chronic kidney disease compared to patients taking H2 blockers for the same condition. A follow-up study in 2020 from Vanderbilt University, published in Kidney International, showed that adults over 65 on PPIs for more than 2 years had a 39% greater risk of progressing to end-stage kidney disease requiring dialysis. James Okafor, a 71-year-old retired engineer from Atlanta, had been on omeprazole for 7 years when a nephrology screening caught early-stage chronic kidney disease. He had no acid reflux symptoms for the last 3 of those years. His doctor had simply never reviewed whether he still needed the drug. After a carefully supervised taper off PPIs under medical guidance and a transition to dietary modifications, including reducing processed foods and late-night eating, his kidney function markers improved by 18% within 1 year. What you can do starting today is ask your doctor a simple question. Do I still need this PPI? And have we ever tried stopping it? Many people are placed on PPIs in hospital settings and never taken off them. The clinical guideline from the American Gastroenterological Association recommends reassessing PPI necessity at least every 6 months. This item pairs powerfully with number 5, because NSAIDs are one of the most common reasons doctors prescribe PPIs in the first place, to protect the stomach. So if you eliminate or reduce NSAID use, you may be able to eliminate PPI use as well, giving your kidneys a double benefit. Now we're entering the top 3, and this is where things get truly serious. Number 3 is a medication that most people over 60 take specifically to protect their heart. But what it's doing to your kidneys after a certain age is something even many cardiologists don't fully address. Don't go anywhere. Number 3, diuretics, water pills, furosemide, hydrochlorothiazide, spironolactone. Number 3, and I want you to pay very close attention here, because if you have heart disease, high blood pressure, or a history of swelling in your legs, there is a very high chance you are taking one of these right now. Diuretics, commonly called water pills, are prescribed to reduce fluid retention and lower blood pressure. They work by forcing your kidneys to excrete more sodium and water into the urine. When used appropriately and monitored carefully, they can be life-saving. But here's what changes after age 60. Your kidney's ability to concentrate and dilute urine becomes significantly less efficient due to a decline in a process called tubular function. Research from the National Institute on Aging, published in 2018 in Clinical Journal of the American Society of Nephrology, showed that tubular function declines by approximately 35% between the ages of 40 and 70. What this means practically is that when a diuretic pushes your kidneys to work harder, they simply cannot respond the way a younger person's kidneys can. The result is what nephrologists call pre-renal azotemia, a condition where the kidneys don't receive enough blood flow to filter properly, causing a buildup of waste products in the blood. In mild cases, it causes fatigue and confusion. In severe cases, it triggers acute kidney failure. A 2020 multi-center study from the University of Toronto, published in JAMA Cardiology, found that hospitalized adults over 65 on loop diuretics, like furosemide, had a 44% rate of acute kidney injury during their admission, compared to just 18% in patients under 50. Eleanor Ramos, a 74-year-old retired nurse from Texas, had been on furosemide 40 milligrams daily for congestive heart failure for 5 years. During a summer heat wave, she became mildly dehydrated, and her kidneys went into acute failure within 72 hours. She was hospitalized for 11 days. After discharge, her cardiologist and nephrologist collaborated to reduce her furosemide dose and introduced close weekly monitoring of her electrolytes and creatinine. Her kidney function, which had dropped to 38% of normal, recovered to 61% over the following 8 months. Here's your practical step. If you're on a diuretic, ask your doctor specifically whether your dose has ever been adjusted for age. Many seniors are on doses calibrated for a 45-year-old's kidney function. You should also be drinking adequate water. Aim for pale yellow urine as a simple guide, and have your potassium, sodium, and creatinine checked at least every 3 to 6 months. The synergy note here is critical. Diuretics combined with NSAIDs, which we covered at number 5, form one of the most dangerous drug pairs for kidneys in older adults. If you're on both, please bring this specifically to your doctor's attention at your next visit. We are now at the top 2, and I want to be very direct with you. The next pill on this list is one that is almost universally recommended for people over 60 for cardiovascular protection. And the final item, number 1, is something so common, so accepted, so trusted, that what I'm about to tell you may genuinely change how you manage your health. Here is number 2. Number 2, angiotensin-converting enzyme inhibitors and ARBs, lisinopril, ramipril, losartan, valsartan. ACE inhibitors and ARBs are prescribed to millions of people over 60 for high blood pressure, heart failure, and diabetic kidney protection. They are excellent medications. But here is the paradox that every older adult on these drugs must understand. The very mechanism that makes them protective can, under certain conditions, become kidney damaging. And those conditions become dramatically more common after age 60. These drugs work by blocking a hormone system called the renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system, or RAAS. This lowers pressure inside the kidney's filtering units, called glomeruli, which reduces long-term scarring. However, in people with narrowing of the kidney arteries, a condition called renal artery stenosis, which is far more prevalent in older adults, or in people who are dehydrated or on diuretics, blocking the system removes the last protective mechanism the kidneys have. Blood pressure inside the glomeruli drops too far, filtration essentially stops, and creatinine levels spike rapidly. A 2023 study from the Cleveland Clinic, published in the New England Journal of Medicine, found that among adults over 65 who were also on diuretics, 31% experienced a clinically significant rise in creatinine within 90 days of starting or increasing an ACE inhibitor dose. A separate 2019 analysis from the University of Edinburgh, published in The Lancet, found that adults over 70 with mild pre-existing kidney disease had a 28% greater risk of accelerated kidney function decline on high-dose ACE inhibitor therapy compared to moderate dose therapy. Robert Chen, a 68-year-old accountant from Chicago, was prescribed lisinopril 20 milligrams for hypertension and heart failure after a cardiac event. 3 months later, his estimated glomerular filtration rate, the standard measure of kidney function, had dropped from 72 to 49, placing him in stage 3 chronic kidney disease. His cardiologist, working with a nephrologist, reduced his dose to 10 milligrams, added careful hydration protocols, and discontinued his concurrent NSAID use. Within 6 months, his eGFR recovered to 64. Not perfect, but a meaningful turnaround that kept him off dialysis. Your actionable step is this. If you're on an ACE inhibitor, or ARB, make sure your kidney function, specifically your eGFR and creatinine, is checked within 2 to 4 weeks of any dose change, and at least every 6 months on a stable dose. This is the standard of care, but alarmingly, a 2021 survey from the American College of Cardiology found that 43% of older patients on these drugs had not had a kidney function test in over a year. The synergy here connects everything on this list. ACE inhibitors with diuretics, combined with NSAIDs, form what nephrologists call the triple whammy, a drug combination that has been cited in emergency nephrology literature as one of the most preventable causes of acute kidney failure in older adults. And now, number 1. This is the one I've been building toward. This pill is not a prescription drug. It doesn't require a doctor's visit. You can buy it anywhere. And it's actively recommended by cardiologists, pharmacists, and health headlines across the internet. But what it does to aging kidneys, especially in combination with the drugs we've already discussed, is something that has only recently become fully understood. Prepare yourself. Number 1. Over-the-counter pain relievers, high-dose or chronic acetaminophen use, Tylenol, and combination drugs. Number 1. And yes, I know what you're thinking. Acetaminophen? Tylenol? The drug doctors tell you to take instead of ibuprofen? The one on the label of NyQuil, Dayquil, Excedrin, Percocet, Vicodin, and hundreds of other products? That one? Yes, that one. And here is why it earns the top spot on this list. For decades, acetaminophen was considered the safe alternative to NSAIDs for older adults with kidney concerns. And at low, infrequent doses, it remains relatively safer. But the picture for people over 60 is far more complicated and far more dangerous than most people realize. Here's the biology. Acetaminophen is metabolized in the liver, but a significant percentage of it passes through the kidneys and is converted there into a reactive toxic metabolite called NAPQI. In younger kidneys, an enzyme called glutathione neutralizes NAPQI quickly. But after age 60, glutathione production in kidney cells declines substantially, by an estimated 30 to 40%, according to a 2017 study from the University of California, San Francisco, published in the journal Aging Cell. This means more toxic metabolite, less protection, and far greater oxidative stress on kidney tissue with every single dose. A massive 2021 study from Oxford University, published in the Annals of Internal Medicine, analyzed over 180,000 older adults and found that those taking acetaminophen regularly, defined as 4 or more days per week, had a 23% higher risk of chronic kidney disease compared to infrequent users. More alarming, a 2019 analysis from the University of Washington, published in the American Journal of Kidney Diseases, found that people who had taken high-dose acetaminophen for 10 or more years had a 40% higher risk of kidney failure requiring dialysis. Dorothy Walsh, a 72-year-old retired librarian from Massachusetts, took 500 milligrams acetaminophen twice daily for chronic lower back pain for 8 years. It wasn't until she was screened for a clinical trial that anyone noticed her eGFR had quietly fallen from 85 to 51, a drop that placed her in moderate chronic kidney disease with no warning symptoms whatsoever. Her pain management was transitioned to a combination of low-impact aquatic exercise, a turmeric-based anti-inflammatory supplement, and weekly physical therapy. 2 years later, her eGFR had stabilized at 53. The decline had stopped entirely. Here's what you need to do immediately. First, count how many products you take that contain acetaminophen. You may be doubling or tripling your dose without realizing it, because it's hidden in cold medicines, sleep aids, and combination pain relievers. Second, if you use acetaminophen regularly, ask your doctor to check your kidney function now. Not at your next annual physical, but now. Third, speak with your doctor about whether turmeric-based anti-inflammatories, omega-3 fatty acids, or physical therapy could reduce your need for daily acetaminophen use. The synergy connection is the most important of all. If you are taking acetaminophen alongside any of the drugs mentioned earlier in this video, diuretics, ACE inhibitors, or PPIs, your risk profile is compounded significantly. The cumulative burden on aging kidneys from multiple medications is not simply additive. Research from the University of Melbourne, published in 2022 in the British Journal of Clinical Pharmacology, showed that older adults on 3 or more of the drugs mentioned in this video had a kidney disease risk 2.8 times higher than those on any single drug alone. Let's bring it all together, because everything we've covered today is deeply connected and deeply actionable. Number 5. NSAIDs like ibuprofen and naproxen cut off blood flow to your kidneys by blocking protective prostaglandins. Use them only when absolutely necessary and for the shortest possible time. Number 4. Proton pump inhibitors like omeprazole are quietly linked to a 39% greater risk of kidney failure in long-term users over 65. Ask your doctor if you still need yours. Number 3. Diuretics push aging kidneys to work in ways they physically cannot sustain. Make sure your dose is calibrated for your age and that your electrolytes are being monitored regularly. Number 2. ACE inhibitors and ARBs are powerful and often necessary, but their interaction with dehydration and other drugs creates the so-called triple whammy, one of the most preventable causes of acute kidney failure in seniors. And number 1, acetaminophen, the drug we all trusted as the safe choice, becomes genuinely dangerous when taken regularly after 60 due to declining glutathione protection in aging kidney cells. Here is what I need you to hold on to. Kidney disease is called the silent killer for a reason. There are no pain receptors in your kidneys. By the time you feel something is wrong, up to 50% of your kidney function may already be gone. But that also means that early, informed action, the kind you are now equipped to take, can genuinely change your outcome at any age. I want to ask you one final question in the comments. Which of these 5 medications are you currently taking? And what is your biggest challenge in speaking with your doctor about your kidney health? Your answer might help someone else in this community take the step they've been afraid to take. If this video gave you something valuable, please give it a like right now. It takes 1 second, and it helps this information reach the people who need it most. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, because every week I bring you research-backed strategies specifically for health after 60. Share this video with someone you care about who takes any of these medications. And leave your comment below. I personally read every single one. Your kidneys have been quietly working for you every single day of your life. Now it's time to work for them.